Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, the State of the Union address, and what the president said about the country's direction, the response from the National Urban League and Black folks in general. And before I went on the air, I found out something interesting, but I can't disagree. It is the best looking White House. I'm not talking about the president. It is the best looking White House we've probably ever seen. Maybe we'll talk about that with Austin Cooper. But also this morning, a food vendor with a history of providing questionable, if not outright racist themed school menus for students is apologizing still again. How many times can you say something is a mistake? Well, we will talk about that as well. We will have all those details. Racist people show themselves in Black History Month. What a surprise. And a suspected white supremacist was arrested for plotting to attack Baltimore's power grid, and investigators say that the motivation was simple, that the city of Baltimore is mostly Black and it has a Black mayor. But we began in Memphis, where 8 more officers are facing charges in the aftermath of the murder of Tyre Nichols. Let's bring on Austin Cooper of the Washington Informer. Austin, thanks, of course, for joining us.
Good morning, brother. Good to see you, and hello to your listeners and viewers.
It's great to see you as well, Austin. We're going to talk about the State of the Union a little bit later in the program, and we have a special today at noon. Michael Harriet of the Grill is going to join us, and we're going to talk about the State of the Union. Judith Brown Deannis is also going to join us again. If you missed yesterday's preview of the State of the Union with Judith Brown Deannis, you might want to go back and check it out. She laid some things out, and the president, well, maybe he did not disappoint, or maybe he did. Check us out at noon today for a special edition of Let It Be Known. But Austin, 8 more officers with the Memphis Police Department are facing charges in the aftermath of Tyre Nichols' death last month. During a city council meeting, which focused on officers' conduct during the violent arrest that left Nichols with fatal injuries, the city attorney, Jennifer Sink, apologized, or I'm sorry, alongside Police Chief C.J. Davis, apologizing and addressed the ongoing investigation. But here's one of the things that they found. One of the officers was taking pictures on his personal cell phone of a battered and near dead Tyre Nichols and sending it to at least 6 different people. Austin, the case for first-degree murder continues to build. I mean, they are charged with second-degree murder, but this is more than outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, a week after his Tyre Nichols funeral, almost a month now since he was beaten and died at the hands of 5 police officers. This story continues to continues to get worse. But I am glad that additional individual police officers and or others are going to be held accountable for participating either directly or indirectly in the murder of this young brother.
Yeah, Barrington Salmon joins us now. Barrington, 13 officers now in total have been implicated in Tyre Nichols' death, including, well, not including, but in addition to EMT workers and firefighters as well. This has a lot more deviousness than even we first reported.
Yeah. It's hard because when you think about human beings doing this to another human being, although when you think about what they did, it makes you really wonder if there's a scrap of humanity in them. I don't get too excited when they say being going to be held accountable, because you see what they did with the white boy. The white boy, nobody said anything about him. We only found out by accident that he was involved, and he was not fired and charged with any crime, even though he's the one that tased him and tased Tyre and did that stuff. Every time that I think about what continues to roll out, it just reiterates the whole idea. They should just close it all down.
Yeah. Listen, Barrington, you know, Miss Claudette Perry kind of gave you a license to be Barrington. You all laid back. Listen, we want the real Barrington. She gave you that license. She said it's okay.
No, but listen, when you think,
Austin, he holding back on us.
I know. I think he's about to come through now, though.
so I just woke up. That's why. No, but when you think about it, Dr. Melina Abdullah, co-founder of Black Lives Matter LA, she said in a recent interview to me that they're irredeemable, and I think that is true. They're irredeemable, and they can say all these nice things and do all these nice things, but until society generally is willing to really look at what's going on and stop thinking of us as having a higher pain tolerance and being able to deal with more bull than regular people, until it was interesting because I watched the State of the Union yesterday, and
we're gonna get to
and for the first time he wasn't talking his garbage about giving cops more money. I don't know, it's always easy to talk and hard. The follow-up very rarely comes. That's like some dude that sees a nice woman and promises her all these things he's gonna do, and then he falls far short of the mark.
Listen,
right?
Don't be telling the nice women story. I heard something about you two. So
but Stacy and Brother Barrington, I can't help but wonder how many additional times these 5 officers did exactly this. There was a story of these same officers being involved 3 or 4 days before this incident with Tyre Nichols in a similar accident, yanking someone out of the car and physically abusing him. But, as this story continues to get legs and to grow with more and more people being implicated one way or another, part of me is wondering if when all this is over, if Chief Davis, I believe that's her name, Chief Davis, will survive.
Probably not.
I see it hard. She was fired in Atlanta. She had developed this and somebody
Scorpion group, like a Scorpion group.
Yeah,
or something.
It's almost like a Scorpion Squad.
Red Dog.
And she developed it there, and it was a massive failure there. She was fired in Atlanta. It's one of those things where you hate to blame, and especially on this show, you hate to blame a Black woman. However, she did something there that was it's unforgivable. She's at the top of the chain. This was her idea, this group, and it just goes to show you too what we've been saying. This stuff cannot be reformed. It cannot. It needs to be totally. I don't know if you use the word reimagined.
Yeah, that's what abolitionists. The abolitionists say we have to reimagine what policing looks like. But sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're not.
One thing that I read about. Oh God, one thing that I read about that I think that we should keep in mind is the fact that Chief Davis and a number of police chiefs in this country have been trained in Israel.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Barrington.
And proof of the pudding is the way that they are treating the Palestinians that they've been holding hostage for the past 55 years. The tactic there are agreements between the Israeli government and law enforcement in this country, and for quite a while, chiefs and officers have been going to Israel to learn these tactics. So I'm not surprised because what they've done is just brought this whole idea of being of controlling an occupied people to this country.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Henry of the West Side is watching on YouTube. He said, on Facebook, he says, we need to be mindful of what we ask for. And Power 96, of course, always dropping gems. He writes in from YouTube. He says, NWA said it best. Black cops showing out for the white police. I saw an episode of one of my favorite television shows just last night, just before the State of the Union. I was trying to get some sort of peace of mind in Blue Bloods. And there was a scene there the storyline was that these two officers, this woman came into the police station. She had blood all over her. She announced that she killed her husband, and the police chief was there, Frank Reagan, and so he took the complaint. They arrested her, and then they investigated and found that the husband had repeatedly been beating her, right? And every time she called the police, she even had a restraining order. Every time she called the police, there was the same two officers kept responding, and they kept letting this guy go. Well, it turns out he was this confidential informant for them or whatever. But here's the thing. So the chief called, the police commissioner called the chief and fired the chief and the two officers and brought them up on charges. And I said, you know what? Again, this is where life needs to imitate art. The police need to be held accountable by police until we can get some sort of reimagined department, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely.
But listen. The police departments in this country will never be reformed from within.
Oh, no, it can't.
So reimagining
cancer can't kill itself.
Yeah. So reimagining what policing would look like is going to require the input and the resources from outside of these organizations, because I think about the fact that they said that one of the conversations Tyre had with his friends was contemplating becoming a police officer to go in to try to change it from the inside.
From the inside.
Has it happened? Has it happened yet?
Never. And Barrington, just so you know, where's that music? Dun 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 dun. Miss Perry is watching on Facebook, and she says self-hatred is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to, right?
I think it goes deeper than that, though, because one of the things that you learn in corporate structures, like, which police hierarchies and all that stuff, in this particular case, these black cops are trying to prove to their white colleagues that they can be as much of assholes and monsters as they are. So they're trying to get their approval, I think, and trying to show them that they're one of the good guys in blue.
Yeah. Well, and Tyre was not offering any any resistance. They misinterpreted resistance. You put a couple of 100 volts of electricity in any of us, we're going to shake violently.
So we did a story.
They saw.
We did an article on blackpressusa.com. Washington Informer carried it. I believe about 20, 30 other newspapers carried it. It was 17 orders that they gave Tyre. 17 orders.
70.
I'm sorry, right, 7. In fact, let me even check that, Barrington. It was 77 orders that they gave him, and every single one of them, of those orders, were not something he could comply with. And you just mentioned, they tased him and told him, stay still.
Yeah.
How do you tase someone and say stay still? They held him on the ground. They say get on the ground. He's already on the ground. Those are just some of the examples. And I just think that Austin and I spoke when this was first happening. We spoke and we had some theories that we had seen online or whatever. But the bottom line is, it seems so personal. And now it comes to light that one of the officers used his personal cell phone. You can't use your personal cell phone on the job anyway, but he used his personal cell phone to take pictures of a battered and beaten and near dead Tyre Nichols, and started sending it around like it was a trophy
to several police officers and friends, as I recall. And I think the young lady online was absolutely correct when she said that this was a demonstration for the world of Black self-hatred. They would never have treated a white person in this matter.
Nope.
Even had he or she been resisting violently, going for their weapons, spitting.
Oh, we've
cursing,
seen videos,
talking
right?
about their mother. They would never have done that. This was absolutely a demonstration of Black self-hatred by Blacks.
Mike V writes in from YouTube that in 2013, the mayor of Camden, New Jersey, dismantled their police department and rebuilt it into a public safety of the community and reduced the incident rate by 42%. They haven't had any issues since. You know, that northern New Jersey seems to get it right because in Newark, the water crisis there that was similar to Flint.
Yeah.
Well, the mayor, what's his name? Baraka?
Ras Baraka.
Ras Baraka took it upon himself. He called on the federal government. They were moving too slow. And that system there is among the best in the country now. This a black city, y'all. You know, a black run city. So this even highlights even more. Let me our next story, which is really ridiculous. But before I go to that, let me just say, Miss Perry writes in to you, Barrington. She says that's self-hatred, a residual behavior of enslavement under white supremacy. That's deep. And she's 100% right. But this is just outrageous. And folks, they need to you know, I'm not all for this, you know, boycotting and this and that, but you need to protest your schools. Send letters to your school districts and say, do not use this company anymore. Aramaic, I believe is the name, Aramac, the vendor that provides food services to schools. They apologized again for the so-called unintentional insensitivity of its Black History Month menu. It echoed similar apologies it made for more than a decade amid backlash over racially insensitive menus. Students at Nyack Middle School in New York were served chicken and waffles with a choice of watermelon for dessert on the first day of Black History Month. The school and its administration and its food vendor, Aramark, apologized after students and parents pointed out the racial stereotypes the menu reinforced. This is not the first time, as we've already stated. But come on.
I mean, until they are held accountable by the school district and the school administration, they will continue to do this. Aramex or this company knows that they can pull this racist, you know, meal nonsense every Black History Month, or perhaps at other times during the year, and there will be no consequences.
They say we are working to determine how it happened and make sure it never happens again. Our team at the school should have been more thoughtful in its service. That is outrageous.
They knew what they were doing. That's BS. They knew what they were doing.
I don't believe them. They're lying. They're lying.
No, it's
and they're trying to give us the okie doke. The thing for me is that I don't expect any heads to roll.
No,
because they always claiming that they're apologizing. Doesn't mean anything. You know, the best way to hurt them is in their pocketbook.
Absolutely.
Take the contract away. That's what I'm saying. Take the school contracts away from them.
Yeah, but I doubt that the schools are going to do that.
We will be revisiting this issue, Black History Month 2024.
Yeah. And 2011, they served chicken and waffles on Martin Luther King Day at the University of California, Irvine. It said at the time that the company would conduct cultural sensitivity training for all managers. And then students at NYU in New York demanded that the schools cut ties with it after their Black History Month menu in 2018 included barbecue ribs, cornbread, collard greens, Kool-Aid, and watermelon flavored water.
So you see, so they're recalcitrant.
Yes.
Like Austin said, we'll be revisiting this in 2025, 26, 27. They don't care. And you know,
Aramark, Bobby Henry is the name of the company. Bobby Henry is writing in. Put the name up of the company.
Yeah.
And Power 96 says, "What in the Jim Crow is going on with that company?"
Yeah.
Oh man. Paris Brown is asking from the Baltimore Times, guys. I'll let you guys tackle this question that she's asking. Should these items be on the menu at all times?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, fried chicken, should that be on the menu?
Yeah.
When we're talking about healthy eating for our kids?
No, but
no.
No. Listen.
I understand, Barrington. Go ahead.
No. Here's the thing. Until I mean, I don't know. There is a burgeoning food revolution happening, where individuals and groups have community gardens. Folks are growing their own food. There
Mhm.
is a movement to get us to understand the importance of eating healthy and all that stuff.
Yep.
But it's a hard slog because fast foods are available at every street corner. Um, Mimi and I go into the supermarket, and if you want good food, it's a rack of money.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if you want some garbage, some processed
It's
food,
cheap. It's
Mhm.
cheap.
Mhm.
Cheaper.
so it's a conspiracy by those in control, those with the money and that type of thing, to keep us in that place. But I mean, we have to become educated, and we have to fight back, because one of the things that our family is benefiting from, when COVID started, Mimi began cultivating a farm in our front yard.
Oh, nice.
So we have
Very cool. Very
we
cool.
have had zucchini and kale and
Mhm.
watermelons and
Yeah.
tomatoes and basil and all types of different things that
Mhm.
that we've grown. And it's the food that we grow tastes completely different from that garbage
Processed
that they
stuff.
sell us
Yeah.
in the supermarkets.
Yeah, my grandmother always had a beautiful garden. If nothing else, I mean, she did a lot of other great things, but she kept a beautiful garden all the time, and that's where we ate from.
Yeah,
She grew
That's
like
right.
collard greens, she grew tomatoes and everything else.
yeah,
You can name. She grew, and you're right. The taste was so much different
yeah.
than if you got it from the store.
Yeah, we be giving our student, particularly in Black and minority communities, a great service by changing the menus. You know, you can't control what these students eat, when they're home or on the weekends, but you can control what they eat during lunch hour.
The Forward Times is the Houston Forward Times, the newspaper of our chair, Miss Karen Carter Richards, is writing in on Facebook, says, "We tried that. We can only grow green onions, strawberries, and jalapenos." Oh,
Really?
that's that,
No, no,
that's
no.
not too bad.
But here's the thing. In a number of communities, like, I mean, even on the teeny scale that we have it, we have friends that have a garden, and the things that they grow are completely different from us. So we barter and change and exchange. So that's what we need to be doing. We need to start our own unofficial marketing system, bartering system, to vary the foods that we're growing. It ain't
So,
that.
And you all remember the incoming that former First Lady Michelle Obama
yep,
took with her Eat Healthy campaign,
Yeah,
particularly for young people to, starve off, put off diabetes and high blood pressure and
yep.
cholesterol.
She
And
said,
the
"Let's move."
incoming that she took, exactly, Let's Move
yeah.
campaign,
Yeah.
and the incoming that she took from the far right, telling our
Yep.
children,
They're
what to
idiots,
eat.
but they're idiots though. So we shouldn't even be thinking about anything that them fools say.
Well, it's going back to the company, Aramark. Mike V says is also part of the prison industrial complex by
Yeah,
serving moldy food to
yeah.
incarcerated persons with lofty federal contracts, and also Power, Power 96 strikes again. He says, "I bet that company puts raisins in their potato salads." Terry Thomas is watching on YouTube and says, "When our people grow their own food, um, they did not put pesticides on them, all natural." And that was the point. And just to wrap it up, guys, Paris Brown is again asking, so do we not want these menus?
He's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I saw you guys are here. Okay, so she makes a point, but isn't it okay, so you eat healthy all year, and then if you select a special day, the occasion to just binge, I guess that could be okay, right?
It could be okay, but
But
but I'm sitting down here racking my brain thinking of effective ways to punish Aramat.
Mhm, mhm.
No,
No, I get it.
boycott. I guess the parents and those concerned would have to go to school boards to try to force the boards or school
Change the
administration
contract.
to void the contract.
Yeah.
And the students, and the students need to take an active role as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they probably would take a more active role than parents.
Mhm, mhm.
You know,
Bobby Henry says, is gardening a more palatable way of saying farming? Young folk don't want to hear that. Well, I didn't look at gardening as farming because I didn't think my grandmother was farming. I just thought she was gardening.
but I don't know if that's necessarily true, Bobby, because just in I'm not pretending that my circles are the universe, but I know a lot of young people in this part of the world that are a part of community gardens. They are working on farms voluntarily and not, and I think it's just some activity that we gotta put in front of our young people early.
Bobby has a garden.
Oh, good. Okay.
But you know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see, and I have no control over it. So, but what I don't want to see, especially if I'm going down south, the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, I don't want to see a bunch of black folks in somebody's field. I mean, some people got to make it. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
The
But
painful reminder of
it's me.
slavery. Yeah.
But the structure of this economic system is such that it's more than likely that you're going to see a brown, black, non-white person in the fields.
Yep.
That's the way it is. I mean, they got to eat, right?
I mean,
It's
not,
true.
I mean, not directly related, but along those lines of looking at blacks in the fields. Yeah, I get that same reaction. It takes me back to a bad time in our history. Even when I'm going through airports or Union Station or New York Penn, I cringe when I see a black man shining a white man's shoes.
Yeah.
Sitting, high up and
Yes.
looking down.
Yes.
It just gives me a bad vibe.
Yes. And let me just go back because if I don't go back to this, it seems like I'm going to get beat up because Greer continues to mention this. And she's right. She says we have to take back the negative connotations with watermelon. Our children need to learn the truth about watermelon and its association. It's all a lie.
Yeah. All true. All true.
All true.
But,
No, I
but
like
that,
watermelon.
but,
It's
that,
good.
that doesn't negate the racist garbage that Aramat continues to do. So it's
No, right.
it's
And I doubt
look
they
at
even fry the
problem.
chicken right. Probably got pink in the chicken.
Yeah.
Too much.
but the truth, listen. If you I have seen videos and documentaries about the way that this country produces its food, the way that they kill these animals, all of the trauma that's in these animals when they kill them is coming into us when we eat it, when we eat the meat, right? If you look at the poultry industry, these people put antibiotics and hormones in these birds to stave off certain diseases. I was tripping because I saw a clip of them preparing these chickens, and they put they poke something into a water source, like a hose or something, into the chickens and use water to plump it up. It's ridiculous.
Listen, Bobby Henry. Now I don't know this, but Bobby's a lot smarter than I am. So he says that the racist garbage could be used to keep us away from what was healthy. For men, watermelon, the rind, he says, is a natural Viagra.
Oh.
Well, I knew that would get some people's attention.
I didn't know that. Hey, Stacey, as we get older, we have to know, where all these sources are. Yeah. That's ultimate self-help right there.
We know where Barrington's going after this show.
Listen, He going to the
Barrington
truck.
is kind. Thank you very much.
That watermelon right there look pretty good. It makes got some good rhymes. Mike got some. Mimi, hang on. I'll be home in a minute. But you know what?
You started it.
It always happens with Barrington.
Listen,
Bobby's the one that said it. I ain't say nothing.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But you know the serious point though. Seriously though, so this happens right with our Mark. This happens with our. So let me ask you this: every time we see, and I have nothing. This is not meant to be a slight against our Jewish brothers and sisters. But every time there is an offense of any nature, the ADL and others rise up immediately and shut people down immediately. Anti-Semitism, they say. They shut it down. This happens, and we are talking about it on Let It Be Known, and I guarantee you, tomorrow, next week, this will not even be talked about. And it's going to, as y'all said, next year or the year after, Aaron Mark is going to do it again.
But Stace, the truth of the matter is that there's very little in this world as it applies to us as Africans in this diaspora that we have to recreate. It is clear that the Jewish clout comes from their financial strength. It comes from their solidarity around any issues that are a threat to the Jewish people. We used to be like that.
Yeah.
And now
case in point, as the Forward Times says, you know that whole the Asian hate bill happened immediately. We still can't get George Floyd got killed. They made him build after him. Everybody, Black Lives Matter. They protesting and you get lawmakers, companies come in and yes, Black Lives and nothing. Tyre Nichols, nothing. But the Asian hate happens. They got that bill through. They got it through
in record time.
But you cannot discount the historical realities that surround African Americans in this country.
Mm-hmm.
There is, listen, for all of these clowns, these far right extremists, their hard on is for Black people. Everything that we have, everything that we are is an issue. They live their lives trying to figure out how to take from us the things that they think that we don't deserve. That's a reality.
Well, case in point, look what happened, Baltimore. And this is a story, by the way. This is another reason why it's certainly not tooting our horn at all, but it's certainly another reason why Let It Be Known is so important. Because one of our regulars, our legal correspondent, if you will, Robert Tarver of the Tarver law firm in Jersey, brought to our attention just yesterday. This white supremacist, she's a self-described white supremacist. She spent months conspiring with a neo-Nazi leader who's based in Florida to plan an attack on Baltimore's power grid, hoping to further their racist mission, according to law enforcement. They the reason why they wanted to attack Baltimore's grid was simply because the city is mostly Black and it has a young Black mayor. This stuff, like you said, Barrington, this goes along with what you're saying. They spend all of their time trying to figure out how to get at us.
Yeah. And the thing that, I believe that this should have gotten much more play.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It has, because I watched the press conference and I did a story on it, and it was like restrained alarm.
Yeah, had it been Manhattan, it would have gotten more attention.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that's why I talked to Bill Fletcher, veteran labor leader, and he what he says I agree with. We are too soft with these people. These far-right extremists, the white nationalists, the Christian nationalists, the proto-fascists, they need to be crushed crushed into dirt until nothing is left. But what we have here are their white compatriots who they're probably going home to have dinner with, who can't make up their mind whether they need to kick their ass or leave them to continue doing what they're doing. Because every time, you know, and for me, I don't trust the FBI, the FBI's history. So
yeah, they said the biggest threat to national security is white supremacy.
White supremacy,
they've
exactly.
been saying that, but they haven't done anything about it.
Right.
They keep on wringing their hands and saying that they don't know what to do, which is bullshit. Because they didn't have a problem with destroying the Black Panthers, destroying the Black civil rights movement, destroying AIM, American Indian Movement, and dismantling the organizations of Chicanos and other non-white people. They didn't have a problem there.
We got a chance. At least I got a chance. I know everyone got a chance that was there. The NMPA's Midwinter Conference that happened last week through this past weekend in Puerto Rico. One of the Black Panthers was there. We got a chance to meet the gentleman. He was highly involved in the Black Panther movement way back when. So it was really interesting to actually meet someone who was involved in that so directly. I mean, we know Dr. Chavis has been, involved in the movement, basically since he was conceived. And so we get to see him all the time.
Yeah.
And others we run into, like Jesse Jackson and Mark Morial and others, but I can't call this guy's name, but it was I just thought it was interesting that he joined us, and it just shows you too the value again of the Black press. Because,
yeah, it does, but also Stacey and Barrington, when I read these stories in the Black press, I am amazed at the creativity of these racists.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like before, burning down churches and water hoses. I mean, it takes some pretty good sophistication and a very particular mindset to try to blow up a grid like they tried to do in Charlotte, and what they tried to do here in Baltimore. And these are simply extensions or legs of Donald Trump, racist legs of Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, and some of the others who feel more comfortable expressing, displaying these types of racism.
Yeah.
But I sat down and looked at all them people sitting in that, I don't know what you call it, hall
chamber.
Thank you, the chamber. And 3/4 of them SOBs shouldn't be there. Absolutely. Because they supported or were actively involved in an insurrection.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
no one's done anything. No one's saying anything.
Yeah, and it's so let's go there. Barrington brings it up. It's so unreal nowadays. You see how horrible American politics is now. It's the worst it's ever been. The political violence, the disrespect. The president used to, I don't care what party he was from, up until recent times, he walked in that chamber for the State of the Union. He's greeted professionally, and if not enthusiastically. Marjorie Taylor Greene and her racist out. She's yelling out to the president. This is broadcast around the world.
He's lying.
You liar, you liar. Like a child, like an adolescent that can't get her way. Get over it. It's been 2 years. Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. He lost.
It don't matter.
Well, who started this was Congressman Joe Wilson, Republican from South Carolina, in 2010 or 2011 when President Obama was speaking. And did you see you saw the reaction of Nancy Pelosi, the pained, annoyed, disgusting look that she gave. She didn't know who made that statement, but she knew it came from the Republican side.
Yeah.
Now compare her reaction to what we saw with Speaker McCarthy yesterday evening.
But
Who sat there sheepishly, kind of saying,
looking for cues,
under his
right?
breath. Exactly.
But
It's a different ball game.
Austin, Kevin McCarthy's a gelding. They've snipped his nuts, bruh. He can't do anything.
Barrington's awake.
Look, Miss Perry said Barrington.
He has no power.
Look at this travesty.
He has ceded all power. So he because I don't know if you saw him sitting there kind of going trying to tell him to shut.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's foolishness.
It is. It's just unreal. And this is why. This is another reason why. Look at that. It's trash.
Look at her.
Exactly. But this is another reason why, folks, when they have these voter drives, Dr. Chavez led this 10 million more voters. You have all these voter drives, the NAACP. But this is part of why people are just. You can see why people just. I don't want to get involved in that.
No, but here's the deal. We sit on the sidelines at our peril.
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin, right?
That's the other side of the coin. Because for me, the American public need to see these idiots for what they are and see what they're doing.
They've been seeing at Barrington in Austin, right? They haven't elected these folks. How in the world
they did
sitting in Congress? How is George Santos sitting in Congress?
Yeah. It's some madness. But we've talked about it before, gentlemen, about the meltdown of institutions, and all of this is stoking distrust that the American public has. It was interesting because I was watching who came into the chamber. Alito, Clarence Thomas, and Gorsuch weren't there. And since Alito basically mouthed that Obama was lying about
yes.
What was he talking
about?
I'd
forgotten about that. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
He was pissed off about something that Obama said and gestured and was saying that Obama was lying. And since then he hasn't come back. Right?
Good.
And it was also interesting to me that Anthony Kennedy and Stephen Breyer, who are not even on the court, that they were there.
And then you see the parents of Tyre Nichols, and the most disrespectful thing: Republicans sat in their seats while Democrats rose to applaud them, and Republicans sat in their seats. And look at there's
because they know because they know their children are safe. And I was very happy to see to hear President Biden personalize the stories of black parents who, when he personalized it and said that not once have he or Jill had to have a conversation with their children about how to react when if the police pull you over. Now, having said that, I wish the president had been more forceful in paying homage to the parents of Tyre Nichols and called for explicitly the passage by this Congress of the George Floyd Police Reform Act.
Well, let me tell you what Mark Morial, the president of National Urban League, said in a statement he sent this morning. The president used the State of the Union address to make a powerful case for transforming the relationship between police and the communities they serve, reminding the nation that the anguish of Tyre Nichols' parents is an ever-present specter for Black families. The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act represents a vision of what President Biden called the covenant we have with each other in America, and we stand with him in demanding its passage into law. While President Biden assailed the January 6th insurrection and the big lie that fueled this violence, his call to honor the results of our election did not specifically call on Congress to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act or other comprehensive voting rights measures. The National Urban League remains committed to this legislation. It will continue to advocate for its passage. So this is where, according to the National Urban League, the president fell short.
But listen, Stace,
Agreed.
we have to remember that this is a man who, President Biden, he's evolving. He hasn't been in this position.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been the pro-cop politician, talking about cops being, become a cop so you can have a good middle-class job. He's had to be educated to come to where he is. So he's still a long way from there. And the thing for me is, yeah, okay, we're gonna pass the George Floyd Policing Act,
Mm-hmm.
and what? And what? We have 18,000 police departments in this country. There is no one standard. They do what they want. They say what they want. They don't. They're not even required to. There's no. It's not even mandatory for them to give crime stats to the FBI. If they don't want to, they don't have to. The police union is super powerful.
Had to be one standard. Yep.
Yeah.
There's not one side. The police union run things, and as long as they continue to give Biden and these politicians as much money as they do, they will never do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
That's a reality. So the George Floyd Reforming Act, while it may do some things, you can't legislate. You can't it's a start. You can't legislate. Yeah.
But that's just it. They won't even get off to the start. They won't give you the start of it.
But why are we surprised?
Yeah.
And what Barrington is saying is that you cannot legislate humanity.
You can't.
It did not take legislation. No legislation could have stopped those cops from brutally beating a fellow brother like they did. That's home training.
They're monsters.
And that's as someone on the watching the show now said, that's Black self-hatred.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so for me, and I say it ad nauseum. Country built on genocide, country built on enslavement, country built on benefiting from the exploitation of others. What fruit should we expect when that is what this country is grown from?
Yeah,
that's a fertilizer that has been put at the root of this country. I don't even know if we can change it, bruh.
Barrington was speaking earlier about at least I forgot what percentage you gave Barrington of those in the GOP who should not have been in that chamber. Because they participated in January 6th. And did you notice when President Biden specifically mentioned, January 6th, the speaker just sat on his hands.
Yes, on his hands, yes, he did.
That's how weak he is. The very same speaker who was scared for his life and who called President Trump and, shouted profanities at him. This is your crowd. These are your people.
Yeah.
Make them go home. This is today's Kevin McCarthy.
Well, what was sweet to me? And Greer just said it. Joe beat their butt last night.
Yeah, yeah. He baited them and they bit the bait.
The old man hammered them fools.
Yeah, you sometimes they say kill him with kindness, and he kind of started off right. He gave Mitch McConnell his props, right?
Yeah. And
of course he said Nancy Pelosi is probably the greatest speaker ever. Yeah. But he tossed out the little compliments and stuff like that. He was very smooth with that.
Yeah.
So but I guess you got to start somewhere. He mentioned something, and listen, I didn't know, and I have to give him credit for this. I didn't know this. I mean, we've been covering things, these bills, but he has gotten through more than 300 bipartisan bills.
Bipartisan bills, yeah. I was not aware of that stat. Yeah.
That is so his, when he came into office, you hear the president say they want to work together with everyone. And he made that a point. He said, we want bipartisan and we're going to work hard to have a bipartisan situation. And coming off those last 4 years with who,
Yeah.
that it was like nobody wanted to hear that,
Yeah.
but Biden
And
stuck to it.
yeah,
But
and I like his point. I liked his jab at those Republicans who voted against the infrastructure bill,
yeah,
yet accepted money from the very
yeah.
same infrastructure bill. And I like his jab. I look forward to seeing you at a future, future
Yes.
groundbreaking ceremonies.
Groundbreakings, right?
Yeah. Listen, Claudette Perry says sometimes baby steps are required. They could start with federal legislation to change the name to Public Safety Department. Take away the slave name, Police Department. Words
like that.
matter, and over a
I
slow
like that.
period of time, change behavior. No truer words, right?
Yep.
I
No
like
truer
that.
words. So listen, as we close out today,
Mhm.
there's at least one person in attendance this morning of the three of us who really believe that this White House consists of a lot of very good looking people. It's like one of the best looking White Houses ever.
Who is that?
Well, obviously it's not you since you had to ask.
That must be Austin.
I was trying to keep him anonymous for at least another minute.
Who's
Look at the blush. So we
got this man
are,
blushing.
huh?
You got this man blushing.
Of course. Because guess what, Barrington?
Yeah.
So at some point really soon, we've been talking with the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yeah.
You like that name, don't you, Austin? And so she's agreed to come into our studios and
Really?
chat with us. And
Oh, that'd be cool.
Austin doesn't have it in him to sit down and do an interview. He's gonna
Really?
lose it all. He may risk it all. We're not gonna let him risk it all, but
So he needs to stay off camera then. Just use
yeah,
audio.
he will definitely stay off camera, and he will not be eating watermelon vines before that interview. We will not have that type of behavior with the press secretary.
You know what's interesting, Stacey? During the Obama administrations, I spent about 3 to 4 years trying to get an interview with Obama and never got it. Because their thing was, they chose who they wanted to talk to, as they all do. And it was more social media than brick and mortar journalists. So it's a coup in my mind that she's agreeing to come on.
Listen, she's not going to turn Austin down. Are you kidding me?
Ooh.
I was not expecting that turn of the conversation. That was good, Stacey. That was good. I didn't even see that coming.
But we can see it all on your face because I ain't never
shucks.
I never seen you this red.
Look at that. There she is. The one and only.
Greer.
The one and only. Listen, was you happy when she got the job? How happy were you when she got the job?
I was elated.
Yeah,
I think she is I think she's the greatest press secretary.
And they try her. Don't they try her?
Oh, they do. In a serious vein, I admire certainly Karine, but any press secretary in either party that can take that kind of incoming
Who was it?
on a daily basis.
Was it Richard Pryor or was it Eddie Murphy? I think it was Richard. It was Richard Pryor. There's a classic Richard Pryor skit. I think it was from Saturday Night Live.
When he was the president, right?
He was right.
He's the president.
Right. Yeah.
And so they were testing him. You get up to the
The
podium.
guy
They
was talking about his mama. The white boy was talking.
He said something about his mom. That was it.
Exactly. But speaking of pathetic White House press secretaries, we all saw the Republican response last night to the State of the Union by former Trump press secretary, now governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yeah. What a depressing, vile speech that she gave, and had the nerve, not to even mention, her boss by name, her former boss by name.
Yeah,
who's still her boss.
But I mean,
still her boss, exactly.
It was so dystopian. It was so, and I laughed to myself because I was like, she thinks she's slick because she dropped in this story with the cancer, her mom's cancer.
Yeah,
to get people to get to be sympathetic and stuff. But she's a. I will not say what I want to say, but she is.
She with her, you can say it.
No, they need to sweep her out and put her in the trash. She belongs
Yep.
with
Yep.
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Glorified white trash.
Matt
Mhm.
Gaetz, all of these insurrectionists, these Trump.
Power 96 says she's the adult version of Honey Boo Boo.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I was texting Michael Steele last night, and I said, "Did Trump write Sarah's speech?" And his response was, "It was written for him in caps," and it was.
Oh yeah, because he was supposed to. He had talked about giving the rebuttal.
Who?
Trump.
Oh please. They're trying to run from that.
You serious?
As quickly as
No,
they
he
can.
was.
I didn't think. Wow.
Yes.
I had not heard that.
Yes, I don't know at what point did it get shut down, but it got shut down.
No. Stacy, that's like I'm sure that they're treating him like, Mom, can I have some ice cream? Yeah, you'll get some soon. They're trying to run from that idiot as far away as they can.
Listen, I'm hoping that as we close out, Greer will take that image down and put Corinne's back
please.
up. Let's end it on a better looking note.
So Austin can have a really good day.
Today was a good day.
I owe you too, especially you, Stacy. That was a good one.
It was a good day. Oh gosh, yes, we are looking forward to our discussion with the White House press secretary, the first African American woman to hold that post. And she's so intelligent. I got a chance to sit in on an interview that she did with Dr. Chavis for his Chavis Chronicles, and we were at the White House with her more than a few times now. I've gotten to see her and talk with her at the White House, and she is amazing. So Austin,
you know what I love most of all? She's a child of the Caribbean.
Of course you do.
Yep,
Haitian
exactly.
parents.
Haiti, exactly. That's right.
Yo, we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Can't stop, won't stop, right? Right, Diddy?
Can't stop, won't stop.
Listen, join us again at noon today for a very special Let It Be Known. We're going to dissect the President's State of the Union, Judith Brown Deonis of the Advancement Project, and Michael Harriot from the Griot is going to join us for a very special noon edition of Let It Be Known today. So stay with us just a couple more hours, actually, and join us for this breakdown of the State of the Union as, of course, it pertains to Black America. Thanks for joining Let It Be Known. Thanks, Barrington, as always. Thanks, Austin, as always.
Thank you.
And Power 96 said he'll be in attendance. We're looking forward to it. Everybody have a great day, and include Let It Be Known as a part of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.